Hi everyone, my name is Tristan from the CPAPstore.ca. Today we're going to be looking at different mask types. If you're starting CPAP, you've probably walked into a sleep clinic or you went to our website and saw so many different variety of masks. Now I'm going to talk about just why those masks exist, not necessarily like all their downsides and upsides and whatever, just what they are, why they exist, and stuff like that. So first up, we're going to be talking about a full face mask. This is the F20 by ResMed, and what a full face mask is basically a mask that covers both your nose and your mouth. So as you can see, this mask goes over my entire face. Now there are full face masks that go like over everything, like your eyes and everything. I think it's your eyes. I mean, it's like a big shield, but those are rarely sold. Like you'll probably never see one of those. So if you're looking at full face masks, you're generally looking at mouth and nose. Breathing out of your nose only does have health benefits. Breathing out of your mouth is not necessarily something that medical professions want you to do because your air gets circulated and filtered better, and I think your nose somehow helps with humidity and stuff like that. So breathing out of your nose is better. So a lot of people wear chin straps to lock their chin in place so they can use a nasal mask. But for those who don't want to use a chin strap and just want to breathe out of their mouth and their nose when they're sleeping, they don't know what they breathe out of, a full face mask will be for that type of user. Another reason why a full face mask is good is if you have allergies or you get sick, sometime of the year and your nose is completely blocked, then you're obviously going to need a full face mask to use CPAP if you're only breathing out of your mouth, right? One more thing about a full face mask is, as you can see, it doesn't really go under the nose at all. It goes on top of the bridge of the nose. And because of that, if you're using a nasal mask or a nasal pillow mask that's going under the nose, you might find irritation over time. So having a full face mask like the F20 to swap out once a week is going to allow your nose to heal. The next type of mask is also a full face mask, but this is what is called like a hybrid full face mask. So again, if you breathe out of your mouth or you need a mask where you are going to breathe out of your mouth for sickness or allergies or whatever, a hybrid mask is going to be better, right? So this full face mask goes underneath the nose, just like that. So it still goes around the mouth fully, right? But as you can see, it has this nose area here that goes underneath. And these masks have all the similarities of a normal full face mask, but they just go under. Obviously the cons is it's going underneath. So if you are using a nasal pillow mask and you want a full face mask to relieve that, let your nose heal a little bit, obviously this is going to irritate just as much as a pillow mask. On the flip side, however, because it's going underneath your nose, it's obviously a lot less kind of in your face, right? It feels a lot lighter on the face than a typical full face mask, which is why a lot of people wear these masks. So if I put on this mask here by Philips, right? As you can see, I can still like watch TV, read a book, because nothing is going on top of my nose, right? So that's the big advantage of these hybrid full face masks. One thing to note, however, because it's going underneath your nose and on your mouth, it kind of like is a little trickier to fit because everyone has a different nose shape, right? And mouth shape. The distance between your lips and your nose might be different. So whereas a typical full face mask is just going to cover everything and it's going to be good for a lot of people, we do find that hybrid full face masks are a little bit trickier. So we do recommend going to your sleep clinic and trying it on before you buy one online if it's your first hybrid full face mask. Okay, so next up we have nasal masks. Nasal masks encompass a variety of different masks. So the traditional nasal mask, like this one here, is going to go on top of your nose. So this is an N20 for her, and as you can see, it'll go on top of my nose like that, over the bridge of the nose and underneath your nostrils there. So it just looks like that. It's like almost like a miniature full face mask. Okay, it's just kind of the same principle, but just going around your nose there. And these masks can be really good. I do find with these masks, I have a very squishy kind of bridge of the nose, not a lot of cartilage. And I find that these masks kind of push there and kind of close my nasal passage. So it's actually harder for me with these masks. But if you have more of a structured nose like a normal person, then this is a very traditional mask and works with a lot of people. So next up in the nasal mask category, we're going to be talking about nasal pillow masks. Okay, nasal pillow masks look like this. And they have two little pillows like that. And these pillows go underneath your nose like so. So they kind of go in your nostrils, not a lot, like 1/8 of an inch, like a millimeter inwards. It's not like you're stuffing these things up. So they are quite comfortable. And what's really nice is because They seal the nostril like fully. It has a really great seal for a lot of people, and because a lot of people's nostrils are relatively the same, they're circular holes. Nasal pillow masks fit a lot of people, so you can generally buy like a P10. There's a ResMed P10. Generally buy a P10 online, and it's going to fit with like 95% of people. Unlike full face masks, where everyone has a different head shape and ear shape and nose shape and stuff like that, pillow masks generally have a pretty consistent seal. So I'll put this one on. This one's really good for traveling because it's so lightweight and minimal. This thing spreads like that. And there you go. That's what it looks like on. And pillow masks also come in a variety. So here we have a very, very minimal version, but then we have this one here, obviously less minimal. There's a hollow frame mask. We'll talk about that in a minute, but this is also a pillow mask. You can see the two pillows there. This is a P30i, right? And yeah, so it'll fit the same in the nostril area, just seal that nostril right up. So a cradle mask is similar to a pillow mask in that it goes underneath your nose like that, but it doesn't have the pillows. In this version, there's just one big hole. This is a Dreamwear by Philips. Sometimes there's like two little holes, but generally it's just sitting underneath your nose there, and that's it. It's a little hole that sits under your nose. And this is actually one of my favorite types of masks. Because my nose is a little more squishy, I find that because it's a more softer mask, the softness of the mask kind of molds to my nose, and because my nose is quite soft, it molds to the mask quite well. So I have pretty good seals there. However, some people, because nothing going into your nose, nothing really sealing, find that when they do crank up the pressures in a cradle mask, it starts to leak, okay? So that's one of the reasons why people avoid nasal cradle masks is they do tend, in general, in the grand scheme of things, to leak a little bit more than a typical pillow nasal mask. That being said, when it comes to the Dreamwear line, a lot of people find the opposite. So a Philips Dreamwear line, a lot of people find that the cradle leaks less than the pillow, and the pillows actually are kind of problematic on the Dreamwear Philips mask. But generally, overall speaking, the masks that go into your nose, the pillows that go into your nose are going to be a little bit better for leakage. Okay, now the last thing I want to talk about is just the frame and headgear. Okay, so here we have the headgear of the Dreamwear that I just showed you. And as you can see, it's a hollow tube frame with a top mounted elbow. And here we have a P10, which is a front mounted tube, okay, with just nothing on the back of the mask there. Now there's a few reasons for this. So if I take this mannequin guy here and I put this Dreamwear mask on him, as you can see, there's nothing really heavy in the front of the mask. All the weight from the tube is going to be back here. So as you toss and turn, like if my hand is the tube, right? As you toss and turn and swivels, there's nothing getting tangled. Whereas if he had a big tube here and he was tossing and turning, it would kind of go around his neck and stuff like that and be a little more uncomfortable. So that's one of the reasons why. Another reason why these masks are good is because if you have a heated tube, you're gonna have the heated tube all the way up to this elbow here. And then so you're gonna have minimal rain out or minimal water droplets, you could say, in the tube, which is obviously good for CPAP using because you don't want water going into your face. On the flip side of things, we have this type of mask with the front mounted tube, okay? And the front mounted tube is really good because it allows you just not to have anything around on the sides of your face, which obviously can be a lot more comfortable for some people. And also, you're not gonna hear the wind rushing on the sides of your face. Some people find that annoying, some people think it's totally okay. So if you don't like, hearing the noise or having things at the side of your face, the front mounted mask obviously has some benefits for you. However, a lot of them do come with this tube just to keep things lighter weight. Because it's at the front, without having this lighter weight tube, things can feel very heavy. So a lot of masks will attach this little lighter weight swivel tube. The downside of this swivel tube though is because this is not a heated line, you can have a little more rain out in a tube such as this, because as the heated air goes through the tube and comes in contact with the colder outside air, sometimes water droplets can form on the inside of the tube. That's called rainout, and that's a little more prevalent in masks with a longer front tube or a longer tube in general. So that's a little bit of a downside, but they have this because they don't want you to feel cumbersome and heavy on the front of the face. Also, if you're gonna be traveling, you wanna go on a plane and sleep on a plane, or you're gonna be sitting up while you're sleeping, of course, having a front mounted mask like this with, you know, your CPAP machine on your lap or something like that is going to be a little more comfortable than having the hollow frame tube. So that's it for today. I hope this video helped you learn a little bit about CPAP masks. If you want to visit our website and find some of the best priced CPAP supplies in Canada, visit us at thecpapstore.ca.